This world is so fantastical. After a nap, I woke up and discovered I'd done something completely insane. I had actually made advances on my pillow. And even more bizarrely, my pillow had turned into M1, 8-meter tall handsome guy. Wasn't it forbidden for things to become sentient after the founding of the country? I groggily looked at the guy next to me, who was not only stunningly handsome, but also crying like a tragic little pillow. Seriously, who would believe this? As soon as I came to my senses, I quickly checked to make sure my clothes were still on. Thankfully, everything was still in place. I sighed with relief. At least we hadn't gone beyond the same bed, same pillow situation. Just as I was starting to feel relieved, my head began to throb from a hangover. I tossed aside the covers, planning to get up and grab a glass of water to clear my head. Whether or not my pillow had turned into a human was beside the point. The crucial issue was how to handle the shared bed situation. Honestly, if I could predict what was about to happen, I would have never lifted the covers. As soon as I did, the bare, white body that was revealed nearly blinded me. I quickly jumped up, hastily covered him back up, and stammered, "Why aren't you wearing any clothes?" After being single for over 20 years, I had never seen such a sight. Today was certainly an eye-opener. I just hoped I wouldn't end up with any eye infections. My pillow stopped crying immediately. Tearful eyes glistened on his long lashes as he looked at me with a pitiful expression, as if he had suffered a grave injustice. "Master, don't you remember? You took off my clothes." I was stunned. Did I really do that? I must be quite something. Although I thought that, I definitely couldn't admit it out loud. "No way. You must be mistaken. How could I possibly take off a man's clothes? Besides, my own clothes are still on. Why would I undress you without first removing my own?" Seeing that I didn't believe him, he seemed even more aggrieved and even tried to get up to explain further. "What the hell are you doing? Stay down." I pushed him back down with the covers, "Because you said that undressing should be done by the other party. You undressed me, but I didn't dare to undress you. When you grew impatient, you said you didn't have to undress and then you pressed down on me. These are all marks left by you," he said, showing me his arm. There were several obvious bruises on his fur skin. "Not just on the arm. There are more elsewhere." He tried to show me more. All right. I was completely stunned by my own actions. How did I end up doing something so crazy? I was also amazed at him. How could a grown man not protect himself? Did you really have to let a girl like me take advantage of him? Although I had indeed taken liberties with him, I absolutely did not believe that he was my pillow come to life. I scoured the floor and eventually found his scattered clothes. I tossed them to him, and as he put them on, he looked as pitiful as a drenched stray dog. "Master, my clothes are torn." "What?" I looked and saw a huge tear. "How did this happen?" He timidly said, "It must be because you tore them last night." What I thought slipped out of my mouth. I didn't realize I was so intense realizing my slip. I quickly coughed to cover up my embarrassment. "Just make do with what you have." After he put on his clothes, I decided to have a serious talk with him. "What's your name?" I asked this simple question, but his reaction was far more intense than I expected. "Master, how could you not know my name?" "I'm Aries, the name you gave me." His response made me hesitate. My pillow really was named Aries, and no one but me knew that name. Yes, I'm the kind of person who names her pillows. Everyone has their little quirks. I have mine. I love collecting various types of pillows. Whenever I see one I like, I take it home. And over time, my home has turned into a pillow paradise. With pillows everywhere, I love each one. But only Aries has a name, because he's my favorite and has been with me the longest. Could it be that he really is Aries? My pillow turned into a person. I shook my head and weakly asked, "How do you know that name? And just because you say so, doesn't make it true. Do you have any evidence?" Hearing this, he seemed to see a glimmer of hope. "If I provide evidence, will you believe me?" I scratched my head. Maybe I still didn't believe he was my pillow. "Master, when you were little, you always hugged me at night and whispered secrets. You said your name was Camille Prit." Indeed, what he said was correct. I couldn't live without Aries, but I could live without the pillow version of Aries. Now that he was a person, it seemed I could let him go. "If you still don't believe me, I know other things too. For example, you used to hide money in your underwear, but when you slept tugging me, you forget about it and your underwear and money would scatter everywhere." At this, my face turned bright red. Without thinking, I jumped up and covered Aries' mouth. All right, I believe you. Don't say any more." Good thing I was quick on my feet, or who knows what else he would have revealed. Aries, unable to move or speak, could only nod. I released my hand and threatened him. "No matter how you knew about this, if you tell anyone, I'll silence you." I made a threatening gesture across my throat. Aries blinked innocently. He was just stating the truth. Life is full of surprises. Who knows, maybe one day your pillow will turn into a person. I probably shouldn't have drunk so much. Waking up to find a fairy in my bed wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but since he really is my pillow, even if he's a fairy, I have to accept him. Still, I'm really impressed with myself. My mental fortitude is strong. I adapted quickly. The only thing I'm not happy about is, why did Aries have to turn into a man? Wouldn't a little girl be nicer? Anyway, having a man appear in a young girl's house isn't ideal, especially when there are no clothes for Aries to wear. But it's my own fault for ripping his clothes, so I resigned myself to buying him new ones. But I didn't expect to run into those two while shopping. I really forgot to check the calendar before leaving. After picking out a suit and paying, I was about to leave when I saw Vanessa and Cedric walking into the store. I tried to shrink away and lower my profile, but as they say, if you don't go looking for trouble, trouble will find you. Oh, isn't this Camille? Are you here to shop for men's clothing? Vanessa scanned me from head to toe, her gaze landing on the clothes I was carrying. I couldn't escape her scrutiny. What? Is this place yours? Are you the only one allowed to shop here? You? Vanessa didn't expect me to be so direct, and she got upset, starting to argue with me. Cedric quickly stepped in to stop her. Vanessa, angry, shoved his hand away. What? Are you suddenly feeling sorry for me? What are you talking about, Vanessa? I really wasn't in the mood to listen to their bickering and was about to leave. Vanessa blocked my way. You're not allowed to leave. Looking at the woman in front of me, who was like a fly, it was hard not to lose my temper. Camille. Just as I was about to snap, someone called my name. I immediately looked toward the voice and saw Aries standing a short distance away, hands in pockets. His handsome face drew a lot of attention from passersby, including Vanessa. Aries walked over and took my hand. Let's go home. We should head back. Vanessa tried to say something, but one look from Aries made her fall silent. You drank so much the other day because of him, didn't you? Aries didn't mention Cedric, but I knew who he meant. I didn't answer, and he didn't ask further. To ease the awkwardness, I said, your clothes are torn. How come you're still wearing them? I looked him up and down and realized he hadn't changed. Of course, I hadn't changed. Otherwise, why would I keep my hands in my pockets? It's because you took so long buying clothes that I couldn't relax, so I came out to find you like this. Hearing this, I was at a loss for words. Well, you're quite impressive. He couldn't tell whether I was praising him or not and smiled widely at me. Seeing Aries like this made my heart stir a bit. I shook my head, probably just imagining things. Because of the trouble with Vanessa, I had resigned and was living off my savings. It was more than enough, but now with Aries around, things were a bit tight. So why does a pillow-turn person need to eat? I didn't understand. In the morning, as I was getting breakfast ready, Aries, yawning, sat her down at the table. Master, good morning. What are we having today? Seeing him act so high and mighty made me angry. Who's the master here? I felt like I was serving a young master. Eat. All you do is eat. Aren't you a fairy? Why do you need to eat? I angrily placed both servings of food in front of myself. HMPH, I'll eat it myself. Aries looked at me as I ate. Master, I'm a fairy, but I still need to eat. If I don't, I'll starve and become a dead fairy. Hey, this guy can argue back. If you don't like it, I can turn you into a dead fairy right now, I said, gripping my chopsticks tightly and digging into the food. Aries awkwardly smiled. I care a lot. Master, I can die. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to stay by your side forever. Aries, are you the legendary Saga Skull? Aries looked puzzled, clearly not understanding. I mean, you're so good at sophistry. After saying this, I was done talking to him and lowered my head to continue eating. Let him starve. Aries chuckled lightly upon hearing my words. I looked up at him and asked, what are you laughing about? Well, Aries cupped my face in his hands and kissed me. Because my master is just too cute. I really like you so much, and I'm genuinely happy to have such a master. Oh my god, what's happening now? I was stunned by the sudden confession, and I didn't even notice my chopsticks falling to the ground. And I really don't think I look cute with my mouth full of food. I shook my face and finally freed myself from Aries' grasp. I mumbled, do you know what you're doing? I'm your master, and you're teasing me like this. It's such a big deal. Aries kept smiling. Master, you've got a bit of food on the corner of your mouth. Then he reached out and picked it off. I felt my face turn red, chewing my food while wondering, did some of it get on me when I was questioning him? But I couldn't let myself lose face. Finally swallowing the food, I was about to question him again when I saw Aries pop the food into his own mouth and even lick his fingers. It tastes pretty good, he said, looking somewhat unsatisfied. I now suspect Aries of having ulterior motives. He's definitely teasing me. Aries glanced at the table, full of anticipation. Master, can I eat now? Then he tugged at my clothing. Master, I'm hungry. You're really a little troublemaker. I was having a hard time refusing him. I'll make you something new. Just wait a moment. Aries grabbed me, pulling the plate towards him. No need for all that hassle. Master, I'll just eat what you left. Are you picky? There might be some drool in it. I wouldn't mind anything from my master, and I actually think the taste is better with a bit of your drool. Aries replied seriously, though he still licked the corner of his mouth, with such a righteous tone. I couldn't find any words to counter him. Fine, if you like it, then go ahead. When there's nothing else to do, Aries would sit on the sofa watching soap operas. I don't understand why a demon like him would enjoy these shows. I don't know where he got these strange ideas from. Even though Aries is a troublesome demon, I never thought of getting rid of him. Although I might struggle a bit to support you, I've never considered abandoning you. As long as you're truly my pillow, I won't abandon you. I Saturday next to him, looking at the boring plot on TV and then at Aries, who skillfully switched channels with the remote. Suddenly, he seemed more human than me. Maybe noticing my gaze, Aries put down the remote and pulled me into his embrace. I didn't react at first. Aries, what are you doing? He didn't answer, burying his head in my neck. I don't know why, but I didn't push him away. Master, are you starting to dislike me? His voice was muffled, sounding somewhat unhappy. Of course not. I've never disliked you. I reached out to pat his head. Then are you no longer able to support me? Is that why you're planning to get rid of me? I don't know where he got these strange ideas from. Even though Aries is a troublesome demon, I never thought of getting rid of him. Although I might struggle a bit to support you, I've never considered abandoning you. As long as you're truly my pillow, I won't abandon you. Aries seemed to regain his vitality upon hearing my answer. He looked up at me. Master, is that really true? Of course it's true. I'm already looking for a new job. I shouldn't have quit for those two scoundrels. It's okay. Once I find a job, I can continue to support you. I began to regret quitting my job. I was too naive. Love isn't worth as much as having money in hand. Master, I want to help share the burden. I don't want you to be distressed, Aries said earnestly. I laughed, thinking he was just joking. Besides eating, sleeping, and watching soap operas, what could a demon do? As long as he doesn't cause trouble, it's fine. But we really shouldn't crush a child's enthusiasm. So I pretended to ask, all right then, if you want to share the burden, what would you do? Master, you don't know this. I can warm the bed and provide personal bed services so that after a day's work, you can relax, Aries said with a look that clearly said, what do you think? I'm great, right? I knew he was just giving lip service. Wouldn't such personal bed services make me even more tired? Wait a minute, what am I thinking? I'm getting sidetracked. Heh. Aries, let me tell you, after a busy day, just sleeping in bed is enough. No need for any services. Really? But master, don't rush to reject me. We can try it out. I'm very skilled, and I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Let's go. Master, let's go to bed now. There's no need to try it out right now, is there? It's broad daylight. I tried to free myself from his hold, feeling unprepared and not wanting to rush. It's okay, master. Don't be afraid. We can do part of it now and the rest later at night. Aries picked me up and headed towards the bedroom. What? I was stunned. Is it possible to do such things in parts? I've never tried it before, so I don't know. When Aries actually put me down on the bed, I started to panic. I couldn't let myself fall into a demon's hands. Otherwise, my entire reputation would be ruined. I grabbed his collar and pulled him down, pressing him beneath me. Aries, some things can't be rushed. We are proper socialist youths. Aries looked at me in confusion. Master, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Also, master, didn't you forget, I'm a pillow, not a youth. I straddled his waist and held his hands down. Now is not the time for such talks. These issues aren't important. The main thing is, don't go overboard. Aries nodded. I sighed in relief, glad that he was listening to me, but my relief was short-lived. But now, why does it feel like it's me who wants to go overboard? Looking at our positions with me on top, it did feel strange. I awkwardly laughed. Ha ha, I'm not. Don't say that. I let go of Aries' hands, preparing to get off him, but he grabbed my ankles, pulling me back into his embrace. I was so embarrassed I struggled to get free. Don't move, my master. For some reason, I stopped struggling and just looked at him. Good master, he said, then leaned down to kiss my forehead as if praising me. You, master, if you really want to do those things, I won't refuse. I belong to you and will only obey you. I will never refuse you, Aries said seriously. I couldn't describe what I was feeling. My face was burning, and I finally managed to break free from him, running out of the bedroom as if an escape. Who wants to do those things with you? At the moment I closed the door, I turned around and thought I saw his smirking lips. What a mischievous demon. Fuming with embarrassment, I locked Aries in the bedroom, not wanting to see him at all. It was already dark, but I didn't turn on the lights. I sat on the balcony, staring at the dark sky. I used to love sitting in the dark watching the sky. I had no friends except Vanessa. Now, even Vanessa was gone. I never blame her for taking Cedric. It's just a man. Who cares? If she wanted him, She could have just told me, and I would have given him to her. But I don't understand why our years of friendship fell apart just because of a man. I thought for a long time, but couldn't come up with an answer. Feeling a bit bored, I decided to go inside. After turning on the light, I saw Aries sitting on the sofa, staring straight at me with bright eyes. I wasn't surprised at all to see him there after I had locked the door. After all, he's a fairy, and he must know a few minor spells. Are you hungry? I'll go make you something to eat, I asked him as if nothing had happened before. I didn't want him to go hungry, but he didn't say anything. I was puzzled. Isn't he usually interested in meals? Why is today different? I walked over slowly. Aries, what's wrong? Aren't you hungry? He didn't answer, but asked me a question. Master, are you still thinking about him? I was taken aback. I knew who he was talking about, but I didn't understand why he was asking. Perhaps my silence made him misunderstand. Cedric isn't worthy of you. He got together with your friend. Why are you still thinking about him? I wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Aries. Why can't you just look at me? I've been by your side for over 10 years. Even though I'm just a pillow, you once said you liked me the most and would never abandon me. At that time, I vowed to become human for you. But now that the day has finally come, why is your heart only for someone else? I looked at Aries. Tonight, he wasn't as carefree as usual. His eyes were full of sadness, but I knew the reason for his sadness. I walked slowly towards him. Do you even know what you're saying, Aries? Of course I do. I leaned in and lifted his chin. You don't know anything. You're just a troublesome little fairy. In his shock, I gently pressed my lips against his. Why are you jealous of such a foolish man? Aries pulled me into his arms. His lips were red, likely because I had used too much force. I don't like him. Agreeing to his confession was just because I was annoyed by his persistence. I didn't expect his affection to be so cheap, so easily given to someone else. Before I could finish my sentence, he silenced me with his lips. I don't want to hear about other men. One man is enough. Saying this, he pushed me onto the sofa. I had a feeling of what was about to happen, but I didn't want it to be on the sofa. I pushed him away. To the bed. Let's go to the bed. Okay, master. Aries obediently carried me to the bed. I looked into his eyes, his black pupils reflecting only me. Master, are you scared? A little. Then what should we do? I won't give you a chance to escape. In the end, I wrapped my arms around Aries' neck, but I was still pondering a question. Was it me who took advantage of my pillow, or was it my pillow who took advantage of me? Maybe it's a profound question. Profound enough that we explored it all night. And even when we woke up the next day, I still hadn't figured out the answer. I usually wanted to roll into his arms, but accidentally missed. And when I opened my eyes, he was nowhere to be found. Aries, Aries. I called his name loudly with no response. Wrapping myself up, I hurried out of the bedroom to find him. The house was calm, as if it had never existed. If it weren't for the bruises all over my body, I might really believe it was just a dream. Who would believe it if I told them? My pillow turned into a fairy, and it deceived me emotionally as well. I laughed at myself. It was all the same in the end. Looking at the pile of pillows on the floor, I couldn't stop the tears from falling. Camille, Mom and Dad are gone. Don't cry. Look, Mom bought you a pillow. Whenever you miss Mom and Dad, just look at this pillow. When you're scared at night, hug this pillow. Call it Aries. Camille Prit needs Aries. You must always be with me, Aries. The only one who can leave is me, right? People need to start over, and I thought I shouldn't be stuck in the past. While tidying up things at home, I couldn't bear to throw away those pillows. In truth, only Aries gave me a sense of security. Today, I finally realized, though I hated to admit it, that I had fallen in love with a fairy who had turned into a pillow. Indeed, I couldn't live without him. When he was gone, I couldn't even sleep properly. I began to suffer from insomnia night after night, waiting for dawn alone in my sleeplessness. Men and male fairies are no different. They are the same, I thought bitterly. But on a similar night, I once again felt his embrace. I knew it wasn't a dream. How could I dream when I couldn't even sleep? Daydreaming isn't for now, Master. I'm sorry. Actually, I didn't want to cry. I just really wanted to hit him. But for some reason, when I rolled into his arms, I couldn't help but shed tears. After my sadness, I finally remembered to scold him. I grabbed his ear. Well, Aries, where did you go? Do you even care about your master? Disappearing like that. Watch out, or I'll call the police and report you for deceiving a girl. Aries quickly pleaded. I'm sorry, Master. Of course, I care about you. You are the only one in my eyes and heart. Ouch. Master, be gentle. Tell me, where did you go? Actually, Master, I haven't been anywhere. You just couldn't see me. I couldn't maintain my human form for long. That night was a bit intense, so I accidentally lost my physical form. But I've been in this room, always with you. I was stunned. What kind of magical plot is this? So, he had been witnessing all my heartache these days. Aries, what is this nonsense? It was just once, and you lost your form. You're not cut out for this. Aries strongly disagreed with my statement. Master, even though I am a fairy, I'm also a man. How can you say men aren't good enough? He's still arguing. Get out. Go away. I don't want you right now. I push him out, leaning against the door. I said, remember, you're not allowed to come in without permission. If you dare to come in, I really won't want you anymore. Master, you'll have insomnia without me. It's okay. The past few nights have passed. What's one more night? Master, I love you. Yeah, Master loves you too. Even though I stayed awake until dawn, Aries was back, and my mood was different. I didn't expect that little guy to be so patient. If I didn't say anything, he really wouldn't come in. Who doesn't like someone obedient? In fact, from the moment he came back, I had already forgiven him, but even though I thought so in my heart, I still couldn't show it immediately. Otherwise, things would really get out of hand. So I held off and didn't let him in, seeing who could hold out longer. Sitting on the sofa, watching the soap operas he used to like, I occasionally checked the clock on the wall, wondering why he hadn't reacted yet. When the doorbell rang, I dashed to the door excitedly, but didn't open it immediately. Now he even learned to knock. I nodded in satisfaction, waited a bit, and then opened the door with some restraint. There was indeed someone outside, but it wasn't the person I was expecting. It was a familiar face, though not one I welcomed. Cedric, what are you doing here? Cedric looked at me in surprise. You. I knew my dark circles were probably too obvious, but I didn't want to say much. What? Are you complaining that I look like a panda? Of course not. My attitude was a bit rude, making Cedric uncomfortable, but discussing things with a scumbag isn't my style. What are you here for? Maybe my reminder helped him remember why I came. Camille, I came to tell you that I broke up with Vanessa. I looked at him calmly, without any sign of emotion. Oh, so what? Why are you telling me this? Cedric took my hand excitedly. I realized I still like you. Don't you like me too? Let's be together. I shook off his hand in disgust. Cedric, you're mistaken. I did have some feelings for you before, but it was far from liking, and I only agreed to your confession because you kept pestering me, and I had no choice. You're lying. If you didn't like me, why would you and Vanessa break up? You only have Vanessa as a friend, Cedric said, not believing it and presenting his so-called evidence. It wasn't me who broke up with her. She chose you and abandoned me for you. Speaking of Vanessa, I still felt some pain. Perhaps friends can never compare to so-called love, but that was her choice. I couldn't change it, only respect and accept it. But, isn't it clear enough? Get out now. Do you think there's no one at home? Cedric tried to say something, but was interrupted. I recognized the voice immediately. Aries stepped in front of me. What else do you want to say? If you're done, get out. I don't want you disturbing my master anymore. Cedric had seen Aries in the mall before. He looked at me. Hey. I hugged Aries' arm. I forgot to introduce you. This is my boyfriend. After I finished speaking, Cedric's eyes lost their light, which was normal, but I didn't expect Aries to freeze up at that moment as well. Once Cedric finally left, I let go of Aries' arm and walked inside. When I looked back, that guy was still standing there, stunned. Aries, what are you doing? Don't you want to come in? It's only been a little while, and you're already looking for someone else. I teased him. Only then did he snap out of it, close the door, and slowly walk towards me. His gaze fixed on me like a wolf's. It made me feel uneasy. What's with that look? Why are you staring at me like that? Master, what did you just say I'm to you? He didn't answer and instead asked his own question. Boyfriend, what else would I say? Do you want me to call you my little pill? I swallowed hard and stumbled over my words. Aries, delighted, came over and lifted me up, spinning me around several times like a child who hadn't grown up. What are you doing? Aries, put me down. I didn't quite understand his sudden mood swing. He stopped, but didn't let me go. No way. I'm not letting go. I'll never let go of my master for the rest of my life. All right. If you're not letting go, then don't, I said, looking at him helplessly. Well then, master, let's go to bed. He said something completely unexpected. I was startled, thinking about the days I wouldn't see him. What kind of sleep are you talking about? Do you want to be insubstantial again? What on earth is going through your little head? You haven't slept in ages. Aren't you tired? Aries sat me down on the bed. I misunderstood again. Aries tucked me in and held me tightly. All right, master, if you want to do something, we'll do it after we wake up. Who wants to do anything? I kicked him lightly. It's okay. I won't be like that anymore. I've resolved that issue. I want to be with you forever. Resolved. When did you fix it? I was curious about this, as it concerns my future happiness. Last night, after you kicked me out, I couldn't just do nothing. Anyway, master, don't worry, I won't leave you in the future. Aries closed his eyes, looking genuinely tired. I decided not to ask any more questions and hugged him back quietly. Aries, I really like you. He opened his eyes and smiled. I know, my dear master. That's it. Just no. Don't Don't you think you should say something too? I was a bit dissatisfied. Alright, master. Don't be unhappy. How about I tell you two secrets? What secrets? Aries leaned close to my ear. Actually, that day, I undressed myself and tore the clothes myself. Even so, you still have to be responsible for me. That's the first secret. The second secret is that even when I was just an ordinary pillow, I liked you already. Actually, Aries can't live without Camille. The last one isn't a secret. It's my promise. This story has come to an end. Please subscribe to the channel to get the latest updates, with a large number of novels updated daily.